All right, welcome back to another episode of Philadelphia Eagles Talk with Geoff and Matt as we preview the Eagles Viking team that's coming up this weekend. And I have to apologize right off the bat here because last episode I said that this game was in Philly. And our reasoning for that was like I knew the Eagles didn't have two straight home games this year. But that doesn't mean that they don't have two straight away games. So bad assumption on my part. So this game is in Minnesota, not Philly. So I wanted to correct that from my last episode because I said it repeatedly that this game was in Philly. And so again, it's going to be another opportunity with Eagles fans don't have a chance to welcome Wentz back to Philly because he's going to luck out again and have this game in Minnesota. But it looks like Wentz is going to start. Lots to talk about this game. The Eagles just coming off what is one of the worst losses that I can remember, getting blown out by the lowly Giants on Thursday night. So they've had 10 days to let this thing simmer and, I guess digest to see what happened, look at the tape and whatever. Heal up is the other thing because they've got a lot of injuries. So we're going to get right into it. Matt, any opening thoughts on this upcoming matchup?
Well, it's not the first time we'd be wrong on this show about something. So we'll just clear the air there. We're not a perfect show. So, yeah, we're playing in Minnesota. Wentz doesn't have to visit the Eagles in Philadelphia, but I'm actually glad for this time around that he's not there because I don't feel good about this game at all. And, if the losing to the Giants wasn't bad enough, either what are your choices? Like give up on the season, go back to the drawing board, or retire like Zadarius Smith did. So I don't know. I don't know about the Eagles going into this week. I'm sure I predicted a win, and I'm not sure I'm going to find a win when we get to the predictions for this game. But very nervous about this game. Eagles seem to be shaky on almost every single phase of the game. They can't catch kickoffs. They can't seem to get the offense going for 60 minutes, and the defense just keeps getting more and more depleted every week that goes by. So a lot of down arrows going into this game, and I'm not going to be too optimistic for the show. I'd say it that way.
Well, that's one of the, reasons I started this show many years ago now, several years ago, is you're going to get the real deal here. We're not going to look at the Eagles with rose-colored glasses, and we're not the Dave Spadaro of the Eagles. We're going to dissect this team and give us our thoughts, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, whatever it might be. I think that your concerns are valid, not knowing specifically what all of them are, but we'll get into that for sure. One thing I did want to talk about, it kind of is a good segue in this episode, is really spend some time trying to dig into what is the problem. Is it the offensive line? Is it the offensive play calling? Is it Jalen Hurts? Is it the injuries? Is it a combination? What is going on with this team? So if you were presented with this problem, Matt, you were the head coach or the GM or whatever, what do you think it is? And how would you address it?
Well, I would say the onus is on the offense because in the offseason, we lost key players on defense. Understanding that our offense is kept together and we kept all our stars, all of our starters are back. And yes, every team has to deal with injuries, and maybe we're more injured at this point in the season than we've been in the past. But the defense, I'm not even going to talk about. Like, it's not on them. Like, they're supposed to be struggling this season, right? I was higher on the defense than you were at the beginning of the season. I'm coming back down to earth like really, really fast, like a SpaceX rocket exploding. Like as it's almost to the platform, it's just a ball of flames. That's how I feel right now with my prediction on the defense, because they are not anywhere near where I thought they could be, and they need some help. But we knew that. What we expected, though, out of the offense was, well, they should be able to put points on the board, and we shouldn't have any big deal with waiting for the defense to find their footing as we get into the season. And here we are going into week 7, correct?
Yeah.
Going into week 7 with a 4-2 record. And it seems like the offense cannot even find the gear. And then when they do, it seems like their gears only go up to third gear. Like there's no fourth gear, there's no fifth gear.
Or it falls off the chain once it hits one of those gears.
Yeah. And they run out of gas. Like something's happening with the mechanism on offense here. So I would say injuries are certainly a part of it. They're not all healthy. And the biggest key to that is Landon Dickerson. They don't have the depth that they had last year when they had Mekhi Becton starting at right guard and not Tyler Steen.
Yeah, Steen plugged in where you need to be. Yeah.
Right. So you expect Mailata to be better. You expect the whole line to be better. But, and I don't know what it is. Maybe age is catching up to Lane Johnson. They've not been 100%. And then you look at Hurts being this enigma at the start of every season. And at the same time, there's as many reasons why you can justify his poor performance. I would challenge anybody to tell me what good quarterback has had a different OC every single year they've been in the league and has been to the playoffs, won 2 Super Bowls, right? Or been to 1 Super Bowl, lost the other one, right? So lost the one in what was that number? Against the Chiefs. I forget the year of that one, but they won it last year. And I'm like, there aren't many players that can be that flexible and still find a point in the season where they turn it on, right? And so they still don't have the running game. Like all of the onus is on the offense. Like you kept Barkley, you kept Brown, you have Jahan Dotson for his second season. You kept Dallas Goedert. You kept the offensive line together. So if I'm the coach, I think it's a lot of pussyfooting around. Like it's football. So you're supposed to be injured and still win. You know, like, okay, we changed OCs. It's not like we've never been down that road. So my message, if I were Nick Sirianni, would be offense, get your shit together. Like get your shit together. If you don't do it this week, then we are in real trouble. But we shouldn't be. We shouldn't be. With the names that we can still name on offense that are playing this game against the Vikings, we should be able to still roll 30-something points on this good Vikings defense. We should be. Are we going to? Probably not.
Well, good thoughts. And I'm going to take some of them almost bit by bit because I think there's some truth in each one. And there's some that I rank higher than the others. And one thing I'll get out of the way right now is injuries. And I do think there's no doubt that the injuries have played a role in the offensive line, especially. You know, if these guys are playing banged up, which clearly they are, even before Dickerson went on the, before he didn't play last week, he was playing hurt. We knew that. He was playing hurt beginning of the season. He had the off-season surgery before the season started on his knee. So he's been banged up. I think that, Juergens has got issues with his back that he just kind of alluded to prior to the Giants game. So, which is something I was speculating. I'm like, I don't even think his back is 100%. Now we know it's not. So he's been playing kind of banged up. And then Lane, as we know, is getting older, and he's been fighting off that stinger that he got a few weeks back. So he's been in and out of games. Although last week he did finish the entire game. So that's good news. So, but here's the thing. I'm not going to use injuries, and I don't think you are either, as an entire excuse, because I see teams like Tampa Bay, who is playing without Evans. They're playing without their second. Godwin's been kind of in and out of their lineup, and they just lost their rookie, that star stud receiver last week. He only played like half a game because he got injured.
Okay.
And yet Tampa Bay finds ways to win the games. The Giants.
Yeah.
Last game, they're playing without their star wide receiver and their second wide receiver. Slayton didn't even play. And they found a way to beat the Eagles, and not only beat the Eagles, beat the crap out of the Eagles. So I can't use an excuse, so I'm not going to use an excuse, even though it is certainly a factor into why the running game's not been as good, because I don't think it's Barkley. I don't think Barkley's missed a step or is slow or anything. He just hasn't had, he hasn't had the room to run. And so it's factored into the running game. And this team runs off the running game. It's always been that way. If we're not able to run the ball, they have a real hard time getting this offense going. That's what needs to change, if you ask me. I think offensively, they need to change the scheme, knowing that right now with this banged-up line, they can't run the ball. So let's figure out what else to do to move the ball, to get first downs, to sustain drives, and not only for a quarter or a period of the game, but the entire game. They got to figure this out. And so that's when the onus gets on the coaching staff. And I think Hurts has got to play much more consistently than he's been. yes, I understand. I've made that point too, that he's played, every single season in his career with a new offensive coordinator. At the same time, you got to see AJ Brown when he's right in front of you, wide open. So stuff like that, I don't care how many, I don't care if he's playing under the worst offensive coordinator in the league. You can't miss Brown in that play. And he's a veteran wide receiver. If he's a rookie, if he's Jackson Dart and he misses a wide open Brown, you understand it. He's new, not a fifth year quarterback. You can't miss AJ Brown over the middle. So I think Hurts deserves some of the blame for the offense. So I kind of have a mixed view. I think the offensive line, not injuries wise, but I just think offensive line needs to figure it out. They still have good players on there, even when they're playing not up to 100% or not 100%. They're still better than a lot of the offensive lines in the league if they can get it together. So I think the onus is on the offensive line and the coaching staff to know, okay, hey, listen, we go into this Viking game again, there's stuff in the run. What's our plan B? How do we get around not being able to run a ball? We got to figure out other plays to move the chains. So it's if you can't hear the frustration in my voice, I'm just, after the beating we took on Thursday night, my meter and patience with this team went from, even though it's been struggling this year offensively, went all the way, to peak. So, because, that was just the thing about losing a game like that is it sucks to lose to a divisional rival, number one. It's okay. It's going to happen. They know us. They know the Eagles well. Everyone in the NFC East knows the other team well. That's one thing. To lose a game to the Giants, who are a bad team, just lost to the Saints, who were winless the week before. So it's a Giants team that just was ripe to get their ass whooped again. And the Eagles going to take advantage of that. And not only that, but they turned the table on the Eagles and out physical them. That's the part that bothers me the most. It's okay. If they lost to the Giants, as much as it would suck, that's fine. But to get pushed around, to get out physical, to get out efforted, to just be blown off the ball, to have Scattaboo, who I know, and I've said from before he was even in the NFL, I knew this guy was going to be a bowling ball to try to tackle. But when you see him, basically knocking Zach Bond onto I-95, it's like, come on now. It's just almost embarrassing, that performance. So that's the stuff that's just unacceptable to me. And I'm hoping that this team watched the tape over the last 10 days and it's eating at them, not only to get the Giants back in 2 weeks, that's one thing, but to go out this week and put up a performance, because they need to start winning some games and turning the season around. Now, all that being said, and I don't want to give away my prediction, but I have a lot of concerns going into this game. A lot of concerns. First of all,
I don't know if you're still talking or you lost signal there. Looks like we may have lost Geoff. Geoff, you there? All right, Geoff's frozen. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit of this podcast until maybe he recycles back. Because I'm looking at a frozen picture. Okay. Let's see. So the last we heard from Geoff was major concerns. And I completely agree with that. And I'm just going to start with one position, cornerback. The whole game is going to depend on whether or not Quinyon Mitchell is on the field and can he run with his hamstring being dinged up. Because if we don't have Quinyon Mitchell to cover Justin Jefferson, then I don't think we have much of a chance of winning this game. If Q is on the field and can run with Jefferson, we still got a problem because nobody's going to run with Jordan Addison on the other side. So Jordan Addison, we know Wentz, when he's on his game and he doesn't play hero ball, can make all the throws. I think the Eagles are in a desperate situation to have better play from their defense in this game. Wentz can't scramble away from defenders like he used to. Welcome back, Geoff.
Sorry about that. Thanks for continuing on. I had my Wi-Fi went down.
Yeah. So you had mentioned serious concerns. So I started with a serious concern. I was mentioning how there's one big concern, and it's at the cornerback position. So if Quinyon Mitchell is not in this game, or if he can't run with Justin Jefferson because he's a little bit dinged up, we're not winning this game. Even if he can run with Jefferson, we have Jordan Addison on the other side playing against. It doesn't matter because they all suck so far, and nobody's. Well, you might as well bring out Isel Jenkins from retirement, and he might be able to play better than Keely Ringo.
Oh, man.
So we're in trouble. And the safeties.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have Bennett back this week, but he's not coming to be back till next week. So, and Vic already said, I don't know if you mentioned it, but Vic already said that Adoree Jackson is going to be starting over Ringo. So
he should be because as much as we bash Jackson, not the train wreck that Keely Ringo is. Ringo is not ready. If you can get rid of him, fine, do it, because I don't know why that guy's starting over Eli Ricks, who we've had on our practice squad, and we've seen him play. Like, that guy makes plays. That guy forgets bad moments and just is back in the receiver's face. You need somebody like that that's going to play with some attitude on this defense, because everyone else is just getting pushed right over. So that's the cornerback situation on our side. The cornerback situation on the other side is Isaiah Rodgers. He's been making plays all season. And so he's a threat.
Yeah.
He's a threat. And if Hurts tries to push a ball where he shouldn't, man, that Vikings defense is nothing to be nothing to overlook. You know? I mean, they have some folks that are longer in the tooth, like Harrison Smith, but man, they can rush the quarterback, they can play good defense, and they have good cornerbacks. So if our offense is supposed to step up to help us win this game, they're doing it against probably the best defense they've played all year.
Well, so I think Denver probably has a better defense, but they're still good, to your point, no doubt about it. Plus, Minnesota's tough at home. Most of the time, I think, the Eagles have dominated. I can't remember the last time the Eagles lost to the Vikings, but pretty much all those games have been in Philly. So this one's, in Minnesota. And, Wentz will be motivated, to beat the Eagles. No doubt about that. So he's going to have a little extra motivation. The good thing about Wentz is this, and we know this. He holds on the ball too long. So even though we're lacking a pass rush this year, it's been almost non-existent. Now we just lost our best pass rusher right now since Nolan Smith's been injured. Obviously, Za'Darius Smith has been our best pass rusher, and you just decided that I'm done playing football, guys, and checked out. So we are as thin as – I can't remember. I was thinking about this. Can you remember the last time the Eagles were this thin at defensive end, where they had absolutely, no threat at the defensive end? I can't remember. I go back to, the Rich Kotite years. I mean, I don't even think they at least still had, William Fuller or somebody like that. I mean, this is a dreadful
we're in
defensive end right now. Now, they're going to get some help because Carter said he's going to play. Carter's going to be back, so that'll help. But Carter hasn't been 100% this year. He hasn't been nearly as good as he's been last year. So whether it's injury-related or he's out of shape or whatever it is, we need Jalen Carter, to step up in this game for sure. But what I was getting at is, even with a thin, depleted defensive line, Carson Wentz will give these guys a chance to sack them, because he will hold on to the ball, especially on third and longs, until the last possible second. We know that. We know Carson does that. So I think that's the key, one of the keys to the game. And I haven't even used any of the supers yet because we don't have someone to remind me to do that. So the Vikings coming into game 3-2. The Eagles are 4-2, obviously coming off 2 straight losses. So I think the one of the keys to the game is they have to get to Wentz, on those. Well, put Wentz in these third and long spots. Those are the downs he's going to hold on to the ball. I'm sure that they will have him kind of getting rid of the ball quickly on first and second down. It's always the third and longs when Wentz tries to pull a Houdini act and holds on to the ball forever. So I think that's my first key to the game is to get the Vikings into those third and longs so that they can get to Wentz maybe and you get some sacks on third down.
I haven't been paying attention to the running game on the Vikings, but if Aaron Jones is healthy, then he could cause a problem. But otherwise, I'd be like, if I'm Vic Fangio and I've got Nakobe Dean on the field and I've got Campbell and I have a weak defensive line, I'm playing like a 4-3, and I am blitzing. I'm blitzing a linebacker every single down. And I'll try to tackle bullet. I'm trying to predict which way they're going to run and blitz the run blitz. But I'm like, I'm sending a linebacker every single down. And because Wentz has a propensity to not throw it to the short guy and wants to throw the hero ball to Jefferson and Addison, especially if they're talking about that's where the matchup ball game, I would blitz him and be in his face and blitz and blitz and blitz and blitz. That's my defensive solution.
Here's the question. Would you do that if there's no Q?
Yes, because that's the only way.
Oh, that's risky.
The only way we stay is if we are able to blitz Wentz, make him run, make him throw short, and not give him time to hit the deep ball. Otherwise, our cornerbacks are not running with these wide receivers. So blitz. I would blitz all day and make Wentz prove that he can read the check down and read the hot pass versus being the hero.
Overall, I like that. Yep.
All day.
What should be interesting, too, is Nakobe Dean, who played last week, but only on special teams. So you wonder now that he's, had the one game where he kind of got his feet wet, test out his knee and all that, if he's going to be injected more into the base defense. And we'll see if if they decide to move Bond and Campbell more to a pass rusher, because we know we need help there. Have Nakobe take over middle linebacker, and like I said, move Bond or Campbell to pass rush, whether it's blitzing or just running off the end. That's going to be interesting, because that's something that's now a possibility.
In addition to the chess pieces being moved around the field, what is severely lacking on this defensive team is leadership. So Zach Bond is a quiet leader, leads by example type thing, but there is no fire out there. So I'm like, I know Cooper kind of has a quiet style too, Cooper DeJean, but somebody has to be the rallying voice, even when they're getting whipped, to just play the next. And that's probably the best thing that Kobe Dean is going to bring with him back onto the field. And there's nobody else that I see doing it. And if Dean's not the guy and he's not in the field, then one of these other younger guys that have proven their worth, like Q, like Cooper DeJean, like Reed Blankenship, you got to be more vocal. Like, you've got to hold guys accountable and be barking at them in the huddle. Like, you have to, because nobody else has filled that role yet.
Yeah, and we got to hope also this week, because they didn't call up Covey like we were calling for at the end in our post-game show for the Giants. So they haven't done that. So it's like, I'm hoping that they've worked on trying to field freaking kickoffs this week, because that's been a disaster and has really set. I mean, we're talking about some of the offensive problems. It also hasn't helped the offense starting inside the 15-yard line 4 times a game, because we can't field a kick. That's not helping out matters either. So
it's everything.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's really all I got to talk about as far as, or at least what I wanted to talk about. So before we get into the keys to the game, do you have anything else you want to mention?
No, that's it. I'm going to be praying a lot.
All right.
Beat the Vikings.
All right, let's go. I already mentioned one of the keys to the game, so why don't you mention what your key to the game is this week? Even if you do think that you might lose, which is, I think, what you've been alluding to.
So we already talked. I talked about the blitz big time, and that's the only way. We don't have any cornerbacks. They cannot cover the receivers of the Vikings. So you have one solution: get to Wentz and get pressure on him and force him into making errors. Force him into making errors that hopefully we get a couple of turnovers, and that keeps the game close.
Turnovers.
The running game. Yeah, and you mentioned the other part. You got to figure out how to get the fucking running game going. If that's not going to go, it's going to be another long day, like very long day. If the Giants beat us that bad, the Vikings can do twice as bad to us what the Giants did. So the other key is you got
one thing I can think off the top of my head, just the running game. We have one offensive lineman who we know is 100% healthy, and that's Mailata. And he's also a guy who's got some speed to maybe run some pitch outs his way with Barkley, so he can get out and squeeze the inside, whoever's blocking. I would at least look into doing some pitch outs to Mailata's side and let him go to work out there against the secondary or whoever's blocking. Maybe have the left guard, who I know is a backup, but maybe have him take on, block the guy that's typically on Mailata and have Mailata go and just lead block downfield behind and have Barkley running behind him. Something like that. I mean, just change up the running game and utilize the strengths of the line that we have right now. By the way, update is on the practice today, at least on the field, Q was out there. So that's a good sign. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to play. But it's a good sign that he was out there versus not being out there. So maybe Q will be able to play this weekend. I think they desperately need him against the team versus the Vikings. But at the same time, I don't want him going out there when he's not 100%, trying to cover Jefferson and pulling his hammy worse. You got to be careful with the hamstring. And Landon Dickerson was also out there in limited practice. So, there's that too.
He's a warrior. He's going to play. He missed the Giants game. There's no way Landon Dickerson misses the second game in a row.
Yeah, and Carter already said he's going to be back. Carter was out there, and he says he's going to play.
So to get the running game going, I would like to see, as much as it pains me to say that we're going to throw the ball less, I want to see more Jalen Hurts designed runs and take advantage and just start the ground and pound game. And I wouldn't mind seeing it right after the very first play on offense should be a flea flicker. Hand it to Barkley, have him chuck it back, and see if he can hit Smith on the dagger route right off the bat. That would be my first play. If that don't work, run the ball twice.
I've been calling for a flea flicker for about 3 weeks because I've been calling for a flea flicker for like 3 weeks. And the reason behind that is everyone's keying. All these defenses are keying to stopping Barkley, and they're doing it. So why not throw the flea flicker? I'm totally with you on that.
Throw him off. You hit it once, and now everything else will open up the rest of the season because that sucker will be on tape. So I would not be shy. And I think the Eagles, like we were saying this last year at this point in the season, stop being so freaking afraid of making mistakes on offense. Accept the fact that they're going to happen. You're going to throw interceptions. You may even fumble the ball, but some plays won't work. But just have some freaking moxie. Their offense looks like they're stuck in a state of duh. And I'm like, you have all the talent to not be doing that. Just play.
And you have two great receivers. What are you paying these guys for? You're paying them to beat these one-on-one matchups. Throw it to them.
It's nuts. So they got to play.
It's frustrating. It is frustrating.
Yeah, play fearless on offense is my key to the game. Play freaking fearless on offense. And I don't care if you screw up. We've seen that in weeks prior. So play fearless. Play fearless. Blitz Wentz.
100%.
Let's go.
Play some fearless ball. Throw the ball down the field. Give Brown. Brown's going to fight for the ball. I mean, he just wants the ball badly right now. You think he's going to let some cornerback out leap him or out fight him for the ball? Throw it to him. And we know how good also at the leap balls or the jump balls that Devonta Smith is. He usually comes down with them as well, as small as he is. He's got great, vertical. So he'll out jump the guy. Whereas, AJ will out physical the guy. So give these guys a chance. I mean, you mentioned Goddard, how they signed Goddard, right, in the offseason. You imagine if this offense didn't have Goddard, how bad they would be? I mean, Goddard has been the one shiny bright spot.
He's been the whole offense, which makes our preseason predictions so far off.
Holy cow.
Yeah. He's probably reached our preseason predictions.
Almost all of our predictions right now look horrible. Horrible. I don't even want to look at them. That's how bad they are.
That's it. And go ahead with your key, because my final key would be get a freaking punt returner. Britton Covey, where are you? Get on the field. Sign him, Howie.
They didn't call him up. So unless they do it before the game, it doesn't appear that Covey's in their plans. I don't know what they're waiting for. I don't know what they're waiting for with Covey. Bring the guy up.
No, and why do we have 4 running backs now on the team? Why do we have Barkley, Dillon, Shipley, and Bigsby? Can you please trade one of those guys away? Maybe even 2 at this point, and just get some defensive line help, get some cornerback help, get a punt returner. Why are we sitting on 4 running backs? That makes no sense to me. And none of them run the ball enough, right? Like none of them are in the ball enough. And Shipley was a good runner.
Well, they thought Bigsby was going to help on the return, and he has been a disaster. They thought Bigsby was going to help on the return. He's been a disaster. So you have Covey in the practice squad. I don't know why they would just not cut Bigsby, but just put him on the practice squad and call up Covey.
Yes.
All right. I don't really have any others because you kind of covered the other ones that I had. I wanted them to be more aggressive on offense. You covered that with your key. So if you have another key, mention it, and we'll get into the predictions.
Mix things up on defense. Throw something special out there, but I would blitz from all portions of the field. Where's a cornerback blitz? Throw a cornerback blitz at them. We can't cover anyway, so just get if Adoree Jackson can run a 4-4, then just freaking blitz him.
Yeah.
Blitz him, let Cuba pick up the coverage, like work on some of these defensive zone blitz schemes that maybe we haven't seen much, but God, we're sitting back and getting toasted because we can't cover anybody, and now we don't have any pass rush. So that's a problem. That's a big problem. So you got to get creative and start creating.
You said blitz this team. I think it's super risky because of the talent they have offensively on a wide receiver, and the fact that we're might be without Q, or we have Q at 80%. Say, I think it's risky, but when you look at the risk assessment, the fact that we're not getting a pass rush, and how Wentz is if you get pressure on him, like any other quarterback, I agree. I think it's not something that I had as a key to the game, but the more I think about it, that you mentioned it, I think blitzing is something that the Eagles should do. Keep the pressure on Wentz, force him to make quicker decisions than he wants to, and then just kind of hope that that the cornerbacks are at least in the vicinity of the wide receivers.
That's all we can hope for. Just everybody get back, right? Get back and blitz.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into it. Let's get to our predictions. I'll let you go first. I went first last week and blew that game. That's one game. Last week I was so far off in my prediction. I thought the Eagles were going to make a statement game coming off the loss to Denver and just kick the crap out of the Giants, who were just like waiting to get beat on because they were coming off a really bad loss to a bad team. The exact opposite happened. That team came with all the fight. They came with all the physicality, and the Eagles just laid a gigantic egg and did nothing. So I was so far off in that prediction. So hopefully we do better this week. Go ahead, Matt. I'll let you go first.
My prediction, since every key to the game feels like a miracle to me, I'm going to go with the same score I had last week, and I'll go 34 Vikings, 17 Eagles. I think they get freaking demolished. I don't see them recovering.
Well, that's unfortunate, but at the same point, here's what I've always said about the Vikings. It's kind of my same mentality that I had with the Eagles versus the Buccaneers. It's like the Eagles always beat the Vikings, so why would I pick against the Eagles until I see the Vikings beat them? That's typically how I would go into this game and how I did during the preseason picks. I'm like, they're playing the Vikings. The Vikings never beat the Eagles. Picking the Eagles until the Vikings ever show up and beat the Eagles. Typically, that's the way I'd go. That was my mentality with the Tampa Bay game. The Eagles went out and actually beat the Vikings. I mean, Jesus, beat Tampa Bay this year. So I'm not going to change, though. I am going to change. I'll get my facts straight here in a second. I can't think straight. So the Vikings team that has been dominated by the Eagles, not even been competitive really. But I think this game is different. I think just the Eagles have not shown me the last couple weeks, especially last week. Now, I don't expect them to play this bad. Like, I definitely think the Eagles will play much better. How could you play worse? Or how could you play even as bad? So I think the Eagles will definitely play better. I don't see them laying an egg. I don't see them getting out-physicaled. But do I see them winning? No. I'm with you. I don't see the Eagles winning this week. And it pains me to say it. I think part of the reason is this offense has not shown the consistency this season to be able to go toe-to-toe with the Vikings, because I think you have to score a lot to beat the Vikings. Our defense has not been able to get pressure. Potentially, Q's not even going to be in the game. And even if he is he 100%? I mean, he's covered one of the best wide receivers in the league. You got to go advantage Jefferson. Just the fact that Q is, even if he plays, he's not 100%. So Wentz, if the Eagles are not able to get to him, is going to have time to throw the ball, and Wentz loves to go deep. So we can see some explosive plays this week if the Eagles don't get to him. I'm with you. I think the Eagles will. I think the Vikings rather will be in the 30s. And I think if they get 30, I don't see the Eagles offense getting 30. So because of that, 31-20 Vikings. Hope I'm wrong. Hope you're
Yeah.
wrong. But what else? I mean, we're going to give you the real deal. I think we kind of broken down why we have our concerns. And if the Eagles do what we said is the keys of the game, if they do those things, yes, they will win the game. But can they do these things? We'll find out on Sunday.
It'd be nice to just start with a kickoff being on our own 20. Like we're at the 15 and 10. Like that would be a win if we just had a catch and run forward for 5 yards. That would be a win on the kickoff special team. So I'm so disappointed in so many things with the Eagles at this point that it's like I'm in prove it mode. I may not predict an Eagles win until they actually show me something, because the rest of this stuff, like we've been saying, preseason football is what September's all about. And in this week right now and the week prior, like this is where, before you get to November, teams actually settle in. I don't think we beat the Rams team that are the Rams today. And I don't think we beat the Buccaneers team that are the Buccaneers today. So what does that mean?
Maybe only because they're so injured. Maybe that's the only reason why we beat the Bucs. But
maybe.
But to your point about how this point in the season, we are week 7 now, right? So the preseason first 4 weeks is over with. This is now. There's no excuses. This is what these teams are. We're seeing the Bills come back to reality now, right? They got to just how to start as the Eagles did. They've lost their last 2 games. They haven't looked as bad as the Eagles, but they still lost. So the excuses are over, right? And we're on week 7, and it's like, what do the Eagles do well? What can you actually like put up on the whiteboard and say, you know what? The Eagles do this well. What would you say? They don't run the ball. They don't pass the ball consistently enough, and their defense hasn't played well. They can't pass rush.
Dallas Goedert plays a hell of a tight end.
Dallas Goedert. I guess the shuffle pass to Goddard. That's one thing you put on the whiteboard. That's it. But my point is, like, there's nothing the Eagles do well right now, 6 weeks into the season. Nothing.
No. And I can tell you, if they try that play again, it has a propensity to be picked off and return 96 yards for a touchdown. I don't want to see it in the red.
Defenses are, if they overplay that play, you're right. You're going to have some linebacker be waiting for it and just gobble it up and take off. Hopefully they like shut that play down for a while.
Yeah, and then it don't feel so special. So that's it. I got fingers crossed. I'm not holding breath because I expect another butt whipping. And even if the Eagles are up at halftime, it's like, okay, I got to watch to the end because total disaster could happen in the next 30 minutes.
Because the Eagles, I remember I went over all the second half stats last week on the show. I put all those stats up there. They are 32nd or 31st in second half offensive stats all the way across the board. So, if they have a lead going to second half, there's zero confidence that you're going to hold on to that lead. So until they prove that they can. And, well, it's not even that. It's not even really the defense's fault. It's like the offense needs to keep playing. It's really the offense more than the defense.
Yeah. It is on the offense to win the rest of the season.
I mean, there's really another thing other than Goddard where you could put on the board and say that they do well. Kick field goals and punt. Okay, but you're not going to win a lot of games when that is the only thing you do well during the season. So, with that said, Matt, any closing thoughts? We wrap it up.
Hope and a prayer for this week. That's all. Hope and a prayer. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's a hope and a prayer. I wouldn't go to that extreme. I think this is going to be a tough game for the Eagles to win. Obviously, we both predicted against him. You need consistency on offense. This offense has got to get it going at some point. They're too good not to. Too much talent. So what is it going to take? All the things we talked about. Let's see if they could do some of them. Maybe they can't do all of them, but if they can at least get their running game going this week, that would be a plus. If Hurts can play a complete whole game this game, and not just in spurts, that'll be a plus. If the offensive line gives Hurts more time than he's had, that'll be a plus. If the play calling is more creative than it's been, not as predictable as it's been this season, that'll be a plus. So,
and if you find a weakness, stick with it. I mean, how many times did they target where Keely Ringo was on the field or where Dory Jackson was on the field since the beginning of the season? So other teams know there's the weakness, attack attack it, attack it. Whereas the Eagles are like,
Yeah.
we want to outsmart ourselves because we know that that's a weakness. And so we can't go there because they'll be ready for it. I'm like, no, attack the weakness, please. For the love of God, attack the weaker matchup and keep it there. Pedal to the metal, choke them out.
Yep. So let's hope the Birds surprise both of us because, even though we're predicting against them, certainly we're rooting 100% for them as always. So, well, that being said, for Matt, this is Geoff. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment if you wish. Until next time, which will be the post game, fly, Eagles, fly, and go Birds. So we'll catch you next time.
Go Birds.
There we go.
Like for real.
See y'all later.